You are now watching The Lone Blown. Blown! Yo, what's poppin' everyone? We're back here at the Lone Blown YouTube channel, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different than what we normally do. You've seen, as of yesterday, because I'm going to be posting this video on the Tuesday, the other video went up on a Monday, I did my first deck profile on Tabletop Simulator. There's not too many people who are doing playthroughs right now. They're just busy right now. I mean, it's a pandemic. Whether people are depressed or not going on, I just figured let's get some deck profiles out there, get some more content for you. This one's going to be a bit more of a live deck building. The goal of this video is I haven't started with a deck. This is how I'm going to end up with the deck. So I'll show you exactly how I would go through the process of building a deck for the Atlas POG championships. So I mean, first things first is I'm going to go over Decidueye today. I think Decidueye is a really cool deck, and I don't think too many people have really talked about it. So we're going to start off with that. I built Decidueye, and I posted a Decidueye video on this channel for post-rotation. So I have a list for reference. I don't necessarily have a list for the Atlas POG yet. So that's what we're going to be doing. I'm going to heavily be influenced by my list. So let's see exactly what we got here. Let's live build this deck. So we got Decidueye, which is not here apparently. Maybe it's not under this. We got Rowlet to look at. So we got the one with Skill Dive, and then we got the one with Hide and Seek. I like attacks that prevent damage going first and foremost. So we're gonna go for that, and I think every deck probably wants to play 4 copies of it. 4. Got it. I'm just scrolling through this list, seeing exactly what we got going on over here. It's going to be a little bit tough to decide exactly what works best, but we'll see. I don't know if there's anything that Marshadow matters for. Just kind of going through, this is my own stack of cards that I made for the Ultra Prism to Darkness Ablaze format. And the reason why I did that, I just think it's easier for deck building purposes. I posted a video in my original Tabletop Simulator video, so feel free to check that out. So these are just some cards that I think are like kind of hot. Marshadow is a card that I don't think we're really going to need. And I'm just going to scroll through some cards a little bit quicker than others, but we'll go through an explanation. This deck is more or less the New Age Obstagoon in my opinion. Got Ditto GX there. I don't think we need a Ditto GX. We don't really want bench sitters in a deck like this. I'm not really worried about Mew at this point. Same thing with Eldegoss. We just don't... It's bench sitters versus... I'm not really worried about Pokemon sniping our bench. I think Mimikyu could be hot, but I don't think there's too many GX Pokemon that are bench sitters that have abilities. Mewtwo and Mew's largely not in this format anymore. We do have this Dartrix. I actually like the Dartrix from Darkness Ablaze a little bit more. We're going to go in here and put in 4 copies of Jirachi. I think Jirachi's good. And I think Ditto Prism Star actually makes a lot of sense in this deck too. So we might actually go over on our first go when it comes to this deck. I like Buzzwole Pheromosa in this deck. And the reason why I like Buzzwole Pheromosa is... You can use Beast Game GX for 50 damage, and you can knock out your opponent from that attack. So you could batter them with the Decidueye, and then you can get the knockout there. I think that's really interesting. A lot of these other cards are just kind of like not really necessary. I don't know how else to put it. So the only Pokemon that I didn't see here was Decidueye, but we have Decidueye, which would be in the Darkness Ablaze here. So if I just search up Decidueye, actually I think Decidueye would be one of the earlier ones over here, if I could actually look. Yeah, so we have the Dartrix here. I like playing 3 Dartrix because there is Turffield in this deck. We might actually need to cut the Dartrix count down a little bit, just because of space constraints, but we'll see exactly how it goes. I'd rather, like, cut down a deck than have to add to a deck. And definitely we want to go for 4 Decidueyes. Decidueye is absolutely hot. What else was there? I didn't find a Team Up Mime, so I'm going to search for our Team Up stack. Grab out a Mime. I think the Mime with Scoop Up Block is really good. So I would like to play one of those, and that basically concludes all the Pokemon that I'd want to play in the deck. I'm not entirely sure if there's anything else here that I'd want to play that would fit within the realms of this deck. Like, I know that Obstagoon has Yveltal and other things like that. We can do a quick peep through just to make sure that we're not missing anything. I just gotta reload some of these sometimes. We can check up to Ultra Prism, because everything else I've checked into the deck. I don't think Super Boost is hot in this deck. I think Counter Gain could be cool. I think Counter Gain sounds really good in a deck like this. Like something like a Rangaroo Ultra Prism sounds awesome. For me, Ditto Prism Star seems really cool in this deck. But like, I don't really think there's going to be too many decks that are just going to like hard stop our opponent or any cards like that. So it's basically taking my post-rotation list and adding in like the Ditto Prism Star, and it's just like the little things that you can add into a deck. Because this deck, largely, with it being a newer archetype, it hasn't really changed too much. Shrine of Punishment might be interesting. I don't know if Lysander Labs is like the hotness. I mean, Cynthia might be better over Professor's Research. So maybe we'll grab that. I should actually have Cynthia in here. Yeah, so we have Cynthia. And what I do here is I try to lay out my lists fairly nicely. So that I can actually copy and paste a spreadable version of it in my saved objects on Tabletop Simulator. So I just try to like preemptively make sure that it's nice and organized. Which makes my life a whole bunch easier. Okay, so there's the Jirachis. Put the Ditto Prism Star there. The Buzzwole Pheromosa. Perfect. Okay, so now we're going to search for supporters. I also really like the Rosa build that Trainer Chip came up with Grant Manley. I really like that version of these kinds of decks, so I'm going to put 4 Roses in there. Of course, a deck like this wouldn't be Flames without Boss Orders. I really don't know what else I want to do. Maybe just like Marnieing it. Sounds fine. That's cool with me. In terms of supporters, I mean, Turffield's probably the hottest that we have. I'll just group those together in a stack. Once you get used to Tabletop Simulator, it's actually really cool. And we'll go through my trainers that I have here. So I set aside some trainers that I think are really good. Rare Candy is obviously a format must-have. If I could find Rare Candy in here, perfect. So there's our 4 Rare Candies. I also think with a deck that's playing Jirachi, we probably want to have Switch. And the next card that I'd probably want to put into the deck is going to be... I'm just looking through these. What do we got here? Pokemon Communication sounds cool, but I don't know if we necessarily even need that. Netball is probably better in this deck. Search your deck for a basic Grass Pokemon or a Grass Energy card. Yeah, so this card's definitely finding its way in the deck. Netball makes... No, we don't want to draw that into our hands. Definitely don't want to draw this into our hand here. Okay, so let's put the Netballs. Netball is definitely one of the cards that we want to add into this deck. What else could we add into this deck is the big question. Don't need Turbo Patch. Scoop Up Net's a card that I think I play in my post-rotation list because we don't have Escape Board. So I think the biggest thing would be Escape Board. I don't think we really need Pokemon Communication, especially with Netball being in the formats. So let's just go here to... Oh, actually, Ordinary Rod is a card that I missed. The Rod of Ordinariness. I actually might have skipped Ordinary Rod in entirety in my playable list by accidentally grabbing Lana's Fishing Rod. That's okay, we could always go back. That's why I go into this to build decks, because I'm not perfect when it comes to building a deck. It's very possible I forget cards. Okay, so let's go Ordinary Rod. I think Ordinary Rod just sounds good in case your opponent's doing something crazy with their stuff. And then a couple Pokemon tools. Oh, we also gain counter gain in this format. I think counter gain sounds really good. So let's go Escape Board. Let's go 2 copies of that. Let's go 2 copies of counter gain. And then let's go search out some Grass Energies. So in terms of other item energies, I don't know exactly which one we'd want to go for. I think the Capture Energy works really well with the deck like this. So now it just comes down to us going down onto our count. So let's, now that we have this, we could actually, so we have 4, 7, 11, 15, 16, 17, 18 Pokemon. Right? So 4, 7, 11, 15, 16, 17, 18 Pokemon. I wish I had a way to, let me signify something here. Let's go to components. Dice, metal. Go for a D20. That we really can't see. Yeah, let's go for this one. Okay, so let's rotate it so that we show that we have 18 Pokemon. Okay, so we have 4, 8, 10, 14, 17, 21, 25, 29, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. So we have 38 trainers. I'll just count that again. 4, 8, 10, 14, 17, 21, 25, 29, 33, 34, 36, 38. Okay, so that signifies our 38 that we have. So 38 plus 18 is equal to 46, 56, and then we have 10 here. Which means we're 6 cards over. So it just comes down to how do I make my decision process to cut down on something like this? So when it comes down to how do I cut something, our first thing I said was maybe I'll cut down a Dartrix. That might be something that we need to cut down on. So there's a Dartrix. That's gone. We can now move this down. And then I'll just grab another die that shows exactly how many we have left. Just in case anyone's like kind of half chillin'. So this die right here shows we have 5 things left to cut. In terms of like trainers, I actually feel really good about this this supporter selection. I think the biggest things that it's going to come down to are, can we get rid of an energy? And I think we can get rid of an energy because we can search them back with Netball. So I think in this format we could actually get rid of an energy. Now we need to get rid of 4 trainer cards. This is actually a weird circumstance. I don't know which better to play Quick Ball or Netball. So it says search your deck for a basic grass Pokemon or a grass energy card. I mean, Netball has applications throughout the game, but I don't necessarily feel like I want to cut everything out from it. It's more like, does Turffield really matter? Like, it searches for an evolution Pokemon. like, I feel like this deck would be a shame if I didn't play the netball, and I know the Ordinary Rod's not getting cut. So what can I cut in this format? And, like, the answer is probably going to be, we have Cynthia and we have Marnie. I could probably cut a Rosa. I'm actually almost okay with that. In the same breath, I could see myself cutting a Marnie because the disruption doesn't really matter too much. Because that gives us, like, kind of like 11 supporters to draw things. So I'm going to cut a Marnie. So that puts us down to 3. And then this puts us down to 17. So 3 cards left. I mean, counter gain is not, like, Escape Board or counter gain. I feel like having 4 overall is a lot. I almost feel like I can cut 1 of each right now. Because, again, this is a first draft of the list. Like, please do not fault me if I don't get it perfect the first time. I think here, going with Escape, like, cutting an Escape Board and cutting a counter gain is fine. We have ways to get out of the active spots. I think we're good in general. So let's go Escape Board. Let's go counter gain. Goodbye, goodbye. So that puts us down to 1. This puts us down to 35. Now we just need to cut 1 more card. My gut feeling is Turffield Stadium doesn't necessarily matter because Rosa can search out exactly what we want. I think we could probably go down to 2 Turffield Stadiums because there's nothing that's really crazy about what we can cut out of this deck. So just doing a final count to make sure, because we have 17, 34, and 9. So 17 plus 34 equals 51, plus 9 equals 60. Let's double count that. 4, 6, 10, 14, 15, 16, 17. Correct. So we don't need that anymore. That's completely fine. 4, 8... Sorry, 4, 8... yeah, sorry. Let me do the math one last time. 4, 8, 10, 13, 15, 19, 23, 27, 31, 32, 33, 34. 34 plus 17 is equal to 51. Plus 5 plus 4 is 9. So that means we have a 60 card deck here. I think that sounds good enough to me when it comes down to it. In terms of like a really first draft of this deck, it seems like it gains a few things from the set, and that's what I like to see, is like when decks gain a few things, especially if you're adding to them or taking away to them. And this way we're actually adding, since the deck was built post-rotation. So when I'm on Tabletop Simulator, the way that I do it, I just hover over everything and I go save object. I'm actually going to save it to my UPR to Darkness Ablaze folder, and I'm going to go Decidueye spread. And I'm writing spread because it's spread out. Now I'm going to group these. I'm going to search through the deck, put the Decidueye at the bottom. And when it comes to putting Decidueye at the bottom, now we have that. Let's go saved objects. And you go Decidueye. So we see now, we go to objects. We got the Decidueye and we got the Decidueye spread. I can delete that. Now let's go over to more of what this deck profile is going to be. I mean, we've already gone through a lot of it. But let's lay it out all nice for everyone to kind of go over so you can see exactly what the list. And remember, the list is always in the description along with all the socials. If you want to be part of the Lone Blown peeps, we got our Discord going on. We have my Twitch stream. I've been doing I'm trying to get my Twitch stream a little bit more regular as I focus more and more and become involved in content creation. I've always been involved in content creation, but this is one of those things where I just want to make sure that I'm involved more than I ever have been before. And of course, be sure to subscribe to stay notified for more cool contents. Okay, so let's grab Decidueye. It's spread here. And the best way that I take care of this, there's the scale up function. I think that's probably fine. And I always try to find like a letter so I can always get things. So this is how I more or less come up with my lists here. We'll go like that. And remember that things are not always going to be the exact same layout as they were before. Just make sure that you come up with a nice little layout. Sometimes you'll have cards that are spread. You could just always stack them up like that. And if you don't like the layout, always feel free to make the cards a little bit bigger if you want as well. So we can see that it's turning out pretty nice here overall. Like, the list looks solid in comparison to what we could have for a deck like this. Okay, so just making sure that I spread it all nice, because I will be taking a screenshot to put this in my Discord server and to share with some cool peeps. And I'll quickly explain what this deck does if y'all are confused up until this point. But I figured it'd be a cool idea to show you exactly what my process is for building a deck, especially if one that I've had before. So now you see that we have these dice. I just start off with the 4s. 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. Then I go see if there's anything that's 5, like an energy. Okay, let's go to 3s, if there's any 3s. I think there's a 3 on the Marnie there. Then we go to 2s. 2, 2, 2. Then we're going to go to 1s. So I'm just copy and pasting these on top. So if you're another YouTuber and you're like, yo, how does Zach do this? How does he make a deck profile on Tabletop Simulator? This would be exactly how I'd go through the process and get it all set up nice beforehand. Although you're watching me do it right now from scratch, unedited here, because we're just chilling. And I wanted to just like create new content. I'm still a new YouTuber for my own channel. I've been a YouTuber for a while. This is my first venture, and I really want to show you guys exactly how I take care of a lot of things. And I'm just changing the angle here. You can always change the angle of how you view things on Tabletop Simulator. So, going over it, how does Decidueye work? It uses its Forest Camouflage ability. It stops V, VMAX, and GX, because Pokemon V encompasses Pokemon V and VMAX. So you're stopping all the 2 and 3 prize card Pokemon in our format. You need to evolve from Dartrix and Rowlet. I like this Rowlet better because you can flip a coin to stop your opponent from attacking you. What else is cool? We got Stellar Wish. This is mainly to make our deck a little bit more consistent. When it's coming down to it, we want to be searching out cards such as Rare Candy, Quick Ball, Netball, and of course our supporter cards in order to make this deck more consistent. I like Buzzwole Pheromosa for its Beast Game GX. If you knock it out from damage counters for the single energy, if you knock out your opponent's active Pokemon or the Pokemon that you attack with Beast Game GX, you hit them for an extra prize card. This can steal games. This is the card that's probably the most likely to get cuts, but I like it right now. Mr. Mime is so that your opponent can't use Scoop Up Net on the Pokemon that you damage, with Split Arrow doing 90, 20, 20. I mean, I think it's pretty important here. You could always get it back with Ordinary Rod if you had to discard it or if your opponent knocks it out. Ditto Prism Star to me is just an extra version of Rowlet that we could evolve into Dartrix. You want to evolve the Ditto into the Dartrix because you cannot Rare Candy this Pokemon. It is not a Rowlet, so it cannot be Rare Candied. For that reason alone, we might want to have an extra Dartrix, something to consider in the future. Turffield Stadium is just really good for grass-type Pokemon. You can search out evolution grass Pokemon, so we can search out Dartrix, search out Decidueye, whether we need to get them to evolve Rowlet or Ditto Prism Star, or if we're just trying to thin our deck later game, Turffield's likely the best supporter we have in this deck. Cynthia is just an easy shuffle draw for this deck, so we don't have to discard resources. Rosa is an easy card to play if our opponent knocks out one of our Pokemon, and we could just get everything. Got a Pokemon, a trainer card, and a basic energy. So we can grab Rare Candy from our deck, an energy from our deck, and we can grab the Pokemon we need as well. So we should be able to get everything we need with Rosa. Marnie is an extension of Cynthia in this deck, but you can disrupt your opponents. This could be easily interchangeable with Cynthia. Might even be able to get cut by one, turn into a professor's research, etc, etc. Boss orders just so we could bring up any pesky non-GX VMAX Pokemon or target knockouts. And we could even use things such as Beast Game GX to win the game. Quick Ball and Netball are meant to get our basic Pokemon out into play, maybe search out a Grass Energy. Whatever we need, this is to make the deck more consistent. We have Rare Candy, just to Rare Candy our Pokemon. From Rowlet to Decidueye, Switch is more or less a pretty basic card. We have Jirachi in our deck, that works out. Got a copy of Ordinary Rod, just to get back any resources if anything were to go wrong, if our opponent just kept on targeting Rowlets or something like that. Escape Board is more or less for Jirachi, but feel free to use it on something like Decidueye since it only has 2 retreats. Counter Gain is if we fall a little bit behind, our attacks cost colorless less, so we can build up the Decidueye for a single energy and attack with Split Arrow. We have Grass Energies, and we have Capture Energies to make sure we can get out our basic Pokemon, because unlike Obstagoon, this is an ability, we don't need an attack, we can get a whole army of Decidueye. Overall, I think this deck is really cool, especially if your opponent's not prepared for it, by including non-V, VMAX, and GX Pokemon in their deck. If they don't play Pokemon such as Volcanion or Duraludon or other cards that are single prize card attackers against Decidueye, they will have a seriously difficult time. So that's what we got going on for this list today. Remember, it is going to be in the description. Remember to subscribe to the channel, stay notified for more, and just check out all the social links too, because you never know exactly what you'll like here at the Lone Blown. I will be posting more deck profiles and things like this, so let me know how you feel about it in the comments below. Until next time, have a great day, my peeps. Really hope that you enjoyed watching that video. I totally enjoyed making it. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like the video, share the video with everyone that you know, and subscribe to the channel as well. Totally appreciate all the support. We got a lot of cool things happening on the channel, so stay tuned for more. Be sure to check out the social links in the description. Thanks and have yourself a great one.